Good evening once more, as we're officially on record, and I'm welcoming you to tonight's session where we'll be treating waterfall project approach and PRINCE2. Waterfall, we call it traditional approach. That has been the most popular project management methodology before other methodologies started springing up. But even up to date, waterfall is still very much active. We see a lot of criticisms from other approach, saying waterfall is rigid, waterfall is that. Yeah, but waterfall is still so much in vogue. Almost all companies are using it, but so many companies are on their way of migrating to other methodologies or combining waterfall with other methodologies. So most project managers we are seeing, all of us, all these jobs, most of them are using waterfall. And so many of them that are using agile approach, they will clearly let you know that they are using agile approach. An agile approach, so many of them will always tell you we're looking for Scrum Master. Once you start hearing we're looking for Scrum Master or we're looking for Product Owner, then you know they are working on agile. And some of them will tell you agile business analysts, they will always indicate. So this will show you that waterfall approach is so much still in existence, so we shouldn't look down on that. Let's look at our lecture notes. So when we say waterfall, you see the way, well, I don't know why they give it the name, but all of us believe that the name waterfall came from the fact that it flows like water. When water is like rainfall or things flowing down, but I don't know why, but that is the name, waterfall. So waterfall makes use of sequential approach activities. Everything needs to be in sequence, and you cannot start number two if you don't finish number one. If you can't start stage, you can't start stage two if you are not done with stage one, and you cannot start stage three if you are not. So it's sequential, meaning that if you are trying to start a project, you start from analysis and you start from design. After designing, you start implementing and testing, deployment and maintenance. So it's this kind of approach. And we've seen, looking at our project plan, you see our project plan, we have predecessors, we have dependencies, and these are, most of these technologies were designed having waterfall in mind. So we give respect to waterfall in spite of all the critics. So the waterfall methodology is a sequential project management approach that divides the project life cycle into distinct phases, with each phase completed before moving to the next. The phases typically include requirement gathering, design, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. And each phase relies heavily on the deliverables produced from the previous phase. Looking at what you guys are doing already, we're in CRM projects. And looking at what we're doing, we have to do requirements gathering before we can start requirement analysis. There's nothing to analyze if you didn't do requirement gathering, because the information you gather, that is what you analyze. And after the analysis and the project, the business case is approved, you started design. So you cannot start designing without requirement gathering and analysis. And you cannot start implementing without designing. It's what you design that's what you are implementing. And you cannot start testing if you didn't implement anything. It's what you implemented as what you are, or what you executed, that is what you are testing. And you cannot deploy if you didn't produce anything and test it and make sure that it's well. You can't deploy without testing. You have to test thoroughly before deployment. And that is how it works. And you cannot maintain, like say maintenance is what you deploy, that is what you are maintaining. You maintain what you deploy. So that is how Waterfall works. It's very simple. We are using it in our everyday life. As a matter of fact, what we don't use often is like others like agile approach. We don't use agile approach all the time, but companies are migrating to that. So that is Waterfall. It's very, very simple. But the way companies are moving to agile is drawing attention, and that's why everybody now wants to become agile project professional. And as we're trying to do that, we don't have to, leave or forget Waterfall in a hurry, because you see, we have some critics about agile as well. You see, agile project management, so many people or so many school of thought say that agile lacks proper planning. Some people call it cowboy approach, because you just capture requirements and you move requirements into backlog and starts. So that's why so many companies, they use what we call a combination of agile and Waterfall. You look at the initiate stage, most of the time initiate stage, like what we are using, the initiate stage contains or predominantly Waterfall. Everything in initiate stage is Waterfall. And if you come to design stage, it's still Waterfall. But when we go to implementation stage, you can call it implementation or deployment. When you want to deploy the solution or execute the solution, you migrate to Agile so that you can use Scrum. And this is what we've been doing. A lot of companies, so many companies are working, they are say combining Waterfall and Agile approach. So let's look at key phases of Waterfall methodology. Like I said, requirement gathering and analysis. You cannot analyze what you didn't capture or what you didn't gather. In the requirement phase, the project stakeholders define and document project objectives, scope, and requirement. The requirements are technically gathered through interview, workshop, and documentation review, and serve as the foundation for subsequent project phases. So this is where you lay foundation. You have to gather requirements. Requirements gathering is data collection, trying to investigate what the problem you need to solve, investigate what is going on, what is happening. There is a situation you need to investigate. That is requirement. And once you capture the requirements, you do the analysis. We've done all this, done requirement gathering, requirement analysis. So you can see where some of all these things we've done, where we use some of them. Then we have design. We call it define stage, or design, call it solution design. That's number 2. Solution design. In the design phase, the project team develop detailed design specification and architectural plan based on the requirement gathered in the previous phase. The design phase often include activities such as system architecture, user interface, and database design. So all these are what we call design, trying to design the solution we want to implement. And after the design, the next thing is to do the implementation. So in the implementation phase, the project team translate the design specification into executable code. This is where the developers come in. Whether you are at this point, some people continue with Waterfall to do their software implementation and bring in their developers at this point. Some people migrate at this point. Some people migrate to agile approach, like what we are doing. At the 3rd stage, we are going to migrate to agile, and that's where we are going to start, applying the Scrum and the Sprint and all these things we learn in agile. But still, that doesn't mean you cannot continue to implement in Waterfall. You can do that. So the implementation phase involves coding, programming, configuration, customization, and integration of software components and systems. This is where the developers come in, like I said. In the define and in the initiate stage and the define stage or design stage, this stage, you see the project managers and the business analysts, and at times system designers or things like that, or web designers. So this is where all this, but developers that do the coding, the configuration, the customization, integration, everything about the engineering, these are, all of them are done within the implementation stage. And after implementation stage, we talk about testing. That's where we start testing. So that is what we call, you see, is highly, that's what Waterfall is. The planning in Waterfall is very, very extensive. They plan a lot, plan everything very well. But Agile tend to, criticize Waterfall for their over planning. At times, the Waterfall, there is, after extensive planning, we might come out, even the solution we are trying to implement might become obsolete while we are busy planning. There's so much paperwork involved within Waterfall approach. So in testing, In the testing phase, the project team verifies and validates the functionalities, performance, and quality of the deliverables. Testing activities may include unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing, and regression testing. So all these testing, these are some of the testing that can be performed at this point. And after testing, if everything goes well after testing, then we move to deployment. We cannot move to deployment without proper testing and everything is working according to specification. And deployment, in the deployment phase, the project team releases the completed project deliverables to end users or customers and transition the project from development to production environment. Deployment activities may include installation, configuration, training, and user support. So this is when we deploy to the production server. If you remember at the early stage of this our boot camp, when we are trying to deploy GoCabo mobile application, we have to do testing within the dev environment. Though we have finished our own dev, but even the Google Play Store wouldn't allow us to just publish our application. Google need to make sure that we are still within the dev environment where we are going to carry out our testing before moving to production. We carry out their testing and they supervise our testing. And after that, if everything goes well, that is the time they give us access to production environment where we push our application to production environment where people, the general public will start accessing. So it's just, that is what I mean by deployment. After testing, you push it to production server for the business to kick off. And then we require maintenance. It's a continuous, most of the applications we use, we see we always have updates. When people are using it, there's some little bugs we might start finding and they start fixing those bugs. These are part of the maintenance and major upgrade as well. And so you can see all these things, they are done within the maintenance. Maintenance, there's a lot of activities happening within the maintenance. In the maintenance phase, project team provide ongoing support, maintenance, and enhancement to the project deliverable to address issues, bugs, and change request report by users. Maintenance activities may include bug fixes, patches, updates, and enhancement to improve product performance and reliability. You're looking at GoCabo mobile app. You see that since we deployed to production environment, we have updated our application. As a matter of fact, our application is no longer, the current application is no longer the current application in the production environment is no longer the first version of GoCabo. We now we are running the second version of GoCabo, and soon we are going to deploy another version of GoCabo. So that's how we continue to, update and fix bugs and things like that So these are what the maintenance teams do. The maintenance, will call them support team at times. So these are key stages in agile project management. Sorry, not agile, in waterfall project management. And we've been observing all these for a long time now. What are the key benefits of waterfall methodology? To have clear and structured projects, progression through predefined phases, well-defined requirements and deliverables at each phase. Like I say, that there is extensive planning in waterfall approach. We plan a lot. Suitable for projects with stable and predictable requirements. Projects without predictable requirement is very difficult to be handled within this waterfall. Another benefit is easy to understand and manage for stakeholders unfamiliar with agile practice. So, but I want to go back to number 3 benefits: suitable to projects with stable and predictable requirements. Why so many software companies today are moving to agile is because most of their application or products do not have predictable requirements. And I'll give you one example. One example is Facebook. Facebook do not have predictable requirements. They don't have direction. They don't know what is going to become of tomorrow. When Facebook started what it is today, their roadmap keep changing every day. They are following what the market is talking. They are following feedback from the users.
Spinning.
It's slow that I wanted you to go and learn.
Please, can you put yourself on
But the
mute?
one that did it school.
Madam Muzamako Okoli, please, you are disturbing the class.
Go there. If you go there, ask them.
Muzamako Okoli.
Jesus, this Amaka is disturbing everything. Yes, sir.
Uzamaka, the next time you disturb the class, I'm not gonna take it lightly. Okay. That is about predictable requirements. The reason why waterfall is very popular in construction industry is because in construction industry, most of their requirement is very much predictable. And that's why they are using it very well. If you go to, let me use building projects, building a house, you want to construct a bungalow, 5-bedroom bungalow. Once you state your project breakdown structure, you see the sequence, you know what to do. You know that it has to start from, okay, clearing the ground, digging the foundation, laying the foundation, from foundation to building the house, and then the bricklayers will start building up laying the bricks, And then from bricklayers, we start inviting people like roofers to roof the house. And after roofing the house, we start putting doors and windows. And then we start, painting, decoration, wiring. So the point here is straightforward. You know what to do. Even before you start, everything is straightforward. It's predictable. And here in building projects, you cannot start fixing the windows. The people fixing the windows cannot start their work if they have not finished the foundation and do the bricklayers you cannot do that. You cannot start doing the roofing while some people they are still doing the foundation. So just like what some of you are doing, when I ask you to do this project you are managing, yes, I appreciate the fact that we want to be fast, we want to deliver on time. But these are some of the things I'm looking at, testing how you do it and how you manage it, or how you react to some things or ask some questions. How will you start assigning deliverable to some people in stage 2? Because I've seen that a lot. Some people will still be in stage 1, initiate stage, and you are already completing some of the deliverable in phase 2 of the project, which is define stage. It's not going, it doesn't rhyme if you are working in water, because some of the, okay, now, in some of the people working in some of my other projects, some of them have already started asking, working on this, on stage 2 of the project, which is solution design. They've started designing the solution. How can they start designing the solution? What we are doing is CRM projects, and they've just submitted their business case. In the business case, they recommended 3 CRM solutions for implementation, and have not approved any of them. So they cannot proceed to solution design if the business case is not approved. They do not understand the solution. Yes, I preempted before we start that this is what we are going to implement, but still I can change my mind and say we are not going to implement Dynamics 365 anymore. So you have to wait to know the solution. I can change my mind and say, okay, at this point, we are going to implement SAP CRM, or we are going to implement Salesforce CRM. We are no longer interested in Dynamics. And they've already started. So the point here is that you always have to wait. That's what we call dependency. You have to respect that a lot. We have to start practicing that no matter how you want. That's why project is very challenging. If they really want to get results, they have to be on my neck to make sure that they get the approval. They understand the solution I want. They want that approval as quickly as possible. But they cannot, no matter what, they cannot proceed if I'm not given approval. So that is waterfall in place when we have, but in a situation like there's nothing you can do. All you just need to do is that's what we have some difficult stakeholders. All you just need to do is try to buy your stakeholders so that they will support you, and you can meet up with your timeline and your budget, because the more it delays, the more the budget, the risk of overshooting the budget, the risk of timeline. So that is some of the challenges in Waterfall. So let's look at challenges we have in Waterfall. Limited flexibility to accommodate changing requirements or priorities. Limited stakeholders' involvement and feedback until late in the project life cycle. Like I said, stakeholder at times I deliberately delay the project. You know, why I'm doing this for you to know that stakeholders can delay a project, and I want to see a reaction. We have a lot of stakeholders like that. They can delay a project and you'll be panicking. So another challenge here is high risk of project failure if requirements are misunderstood or misinterpreted. Like if we do not capture requirement very well, it can be a serious problem when we capture wrong requirements. So that's why it's very, very important to always, engage your stakeholders. I've had a project where the project team decided to do everything with the project brief. And when I confront, they say, yeah, but we have everything in the project brief. I say, yes, but we can have changing requirement. So you need to always make sure, check. Don't just conclude. You need to talk to your stakeholders, hear from them, capture one-on-one requirement from them. And validation. Validation is when you capture requirements, even before you start, you still need to go back for approval. Yes, this is a requirement. You had a meeting with them. They say that this is what they want, but tomorrow they can change them. So before you even proceed, you still need to get validation for them to check, yes, cross-check. This is the requirement we are planning to. And they say, yes, go ahead. Because once you have understood the requirement, or the requirement is misinterpreted, it's going to be a serious problem. Difficulty in adapting to unexpected changes or challenges during the project execution. We capture changes in Waterfall, but it takes time. Unlike in Agile is very flexible, and that's why they call it, some people say it's a cowboy method of project management. But it's the flexibility is not here. You have to go through due process in Waterfall, and is a bit of bureaucratic and bottleneck, and it delays projects. These are challenges we have in Waterfall, but still, Waterfall is still number one today, because most companies are still using Waterfall. Or you hear everywhere project managers say they're all Waterfall. It's only when you start hearing Scrum Master, product owner, then you know that we've arrived at agile environment. As long as you keep on hearing project manager, they're all Waterfall. So most of the projects still today, they are still running on Waterfall approach. So that's Waterfall approach. We call it traditional method. Once you hear traditional method, you know that they are talking about Waterfall. Some call it traditional method, some call it legacy approach. Whichever name they want to name it is waterfall methodology. In conclusion, the waterfall methodology offered a structured and sequential approach to project management suitable for projects with stable and well understood requirements. While the waterfall methodology provides clarity and predictability in the project progression, it may lack the flexibility and adaptability required to address rapid changing business environment and evolving customer need. In agile approach, customers can say we don't need this or we want this, and you see the team will just jump in and add the feature immediately without going to, run through rigorous process of capturing validating requirement before adding it. So that is agile. Agile works with changing environments, trying to satisfy customers at all time, looking at the market trend. But waterfall, everything is about the paperwork, the way it is in the paper. They believe so much in contracts. They always ask you, is that what you have in the paper? Is that the agreement? That is waterfall for you. But agile is very flexible. So that is the contradiction between waterfall and agile approach. Then let's look at PRINCE2. PRINCE2 is still a structured project management approach. So the full name here is, I'll call it, is from UK government. This, why it's very, very popular in UK is that this project management methodology is developed or initiated by the government, UK government, and is project in controlled environments. It's a methodology developed by the UK government to provide common framework for managing projects effectively. PRINCE2 is based on 7 principles, themes, and processes that guides project planning, execution, and control throughout the project life cycle. Like here you see common framework. So government want a situation where projects, and you see, because of that, most of government projects, those days, but there's a bit of deviation these days. When PRINCE2 is inactive, all the government projects, all of them are running in PRINCE2 methodology, and those days PRINCE2 became so popular. So like around 2007 that I came to UK, PRINCE2 is so much, in vogue. Everybody's talking about PRINCE2, and that's those days we did PRINCE2 foundation, practitioner. All of us want to be PRINCE2. That's when we wanted to start our project management career. I wanted to start from PRINCE2 when I wanted to do my certifications. The key principles of PRINCE2 is continued business justification. What does this mean? What it means that the business, the project you are implementing must continue to be viable at every point in time. If the project is no longer viable at some point, then you might think of closing the project according to PRINCE2. So PRINCE2 project must have a valid business case that justify the investment of resources and effort. And therefore, this is what the government is trying to do, that make sure that whatever project government or any investment government are, working on it, make sure that they have justification for whatever they do, because they are spending taxpayers' money, and applying PRINCE2, which will help them make sure that whatever project government is working on is continue to be viable. So you don't have any reason for any day, maybe people, filing against the government or criticizing the government, because they are using PRINCE2. And according to PRINCE2, it's only if the project managers do not know what they are doing. But if the project managers are experienced and knows what PRINCE2 is, they must continue to evaluate the viability of that project all the time till that project comes to an end, making sure that the project is justified. The investment and resources and effort is justified because it's viable. The return on investment is what we are looking at this point. The business case outlines the expected benefits, cost, risk, and return associated with that project. And for the business analysts here, they will always be very busy, doing cost-benefit analysis, making sure that the benefit is always bigger than the cost. Then the key principle is learn from experience. This is when the project lesson learned, when it becomes very, very, active. Every time companies are working or project team working on PRINCE2, it becomes a norm that the project team must at least in a week do their lesson learn. You must capture lesson learn at every stage. You must do that very well. PRINCE2 encourage project team to learn from past projects, both success and failure, and apply lesson learned to improve project planning and execution. So you see some of all these terminologies, some of these key principles, how so many of them became so prominent, like lesson learned became so prominent. The number 3 key principle is defining roles and responsibilities. You can see here how RISI metrics became so popular, because the project team need to always define roles and responsibilities for everybody for accountability, so that they will know where the finger avoid this. In this case, you are accountable for whatever goes wrong. Your responsibility. So PRINCE2 define clear rules and responsibilities for project stakeholders, including project board, project managers, team members, and project support role, ensuring accountability and ownership. We've captured all these roles and responsibilities. So you can see that in project management, some project team do a combination of PRINCE2, Waterfall, and Agile. They do a collection of the best of every of these projects, and we call it hybrid project management. It happens. I've seen that a lot. And no, there is not a law, it's not a crime. That's why at times you have to understand a bit of all these key project management methodologies to understand, because you will find a situation where your company wants to have a taste or have a collection of the best from all the approaches. See, that is a lesson learned, and we've done that. We use a technique called RACI metrics to do rules and responsibilities, and then manage by stages. Number 4, manage by stages. PRINCE2, all the projects methodologies, they do manage by stages as well. PRINCE2 divide project lifecycle into manageable stages known as management stages with defined objective, deliverables, and review points. Each stage must be planned, monitored, and controlled to ensure progress and quality. Manage by exception. PRINCE2 empowers project managers to make day-to-day decisions within predefined tolerance, but requires escalation to higher authority if tolerance are exceeded or issues arise that cannot be resolved within the project manager's authority. And this is where the project managers become the king. They are empowered. They have some authority within this project. They are authorized to take decision on that project. Day-to-day activity, day-to-day decision, they take that decision, and they can still do anything within until in some cases they will have maybe stated where an escalation is needed, but in so many cases they just have absolute power to lead the project the way they want it. Focus on products, that's number 6. PRINCE2 emphasizes the importance of defining and managing project deliverable known as products throughout the project lifecycle. The product must be defined, approved, and delivered according to predefined quality criteria and standard. And you look at this area, you see this is a bit similar with every project have this quality standard. Even in Waterfall, they have quality control, and in that's where we see the QA, quality assurance officers. In agile environment, we call it acceptance criteria. So we have acceptance criteria. So every project have this quality criteria and standard. Number 7 is tailored to suit project environment. PRINCE2 is adaptable and scalable, allowing organizations to tailor their principle, theme, and process to suit the specific need, complexity, and context of individual projects. You can see here, PRINCE2 is now have a bit of flexibility, just like agile. So PRINCE2 is a bit modern approach, trying to capture the best of every project. That's what they try to do. Capture some agile key features, and then capture waterfall key features and use it as a project methodology. So it's a bit refined, and as they keep on refining this PRINCE2, that today we have what we call agile PRINCE2. Yes, the last time I was reviewing, I saw now there's a new version of PRINCE2 called agile PRINCE2. So they are still trying, because of the popularity of agile, and agile is really taking over the market. They don't want PRINCE2 to die. You know, this government project, they don't want it to die, and they keep on optimizing it to make sure that it's still effective within the market. So after this key principle, we have key themes that guides PRINCE2. And these themes are business case. These are things you must always look at while working within PRINCE2. Business case. You must have a business case, ensuring that the project remains aligned with the organizational objectives and delivers value to stakeholders. Organization that is being organized, define clear rules and responsibility, and reporting structure for project stakeholders. Quality, establish quality criteria, standard, and processes to ensure that project deliverables meet stakeholders' expectations. Plans, develop a comprehensive plan to guide project execution, monitoring, and control. 5, identifying, assessing, and mitigating project risk to minimize their impact on the project objectives. 6, change. Manage changes to project scope, requirement, and deliverable to ensure alignment with alignment with stakeholders' need and expectation. Progress, monitor and report project progress against the baseline, schedule, budget, and quality criteria. So you see, this team is carved out looking at their key principles. So, and if you are working, this is the guideline, or this is the guideline you need to look at. Everything you do must be within these 7 themes of PRINCE2. Then we have processes of PRINCE2. Number 1 is starting up a project. First, initiating the project, defining its objective, scope, approach, and appointing the project management team. We do this using project charter to, once the project charter is out, project charter covers all those. So we use project charter to initiate a project. Directing a project, providing oversight and governance for the project, including authorizing project initiation, approval, stage plan, and monitoring project progress. 3, initiating a project, establishing a detailed project plan, including the business case, project management approach, and initiation document. 4, controlling a stage. Monitoring and controlling project progress, managing issues and risk, and reviewing stage performance against plan objectives. So you must always review the performance to make sure that you are still on track. Managing product delivery. Managing the development and delivery of project product according to predefined quality criteria and standard. 6, managing stage boundaries. Reviewing project progress updating plan, and obtaining approval to proceed to the next management stage. Like this is very, very, in so many companies, they don't, this number 6, they don't really see, they keep on. But the best, when you are using some of these approaches, for instance, I know government projects, you cannot start the next stage without approval. You must get a nod to start the next stage. You know, so, and it's not mainly in public sectors. In public sectors, this stage boundary must get a nod, approval, before you can proceed to the next stage of your project. Closing project. Formalizing project closure, reviewing project outcome, capturing lesson learned, and handing over project deliverable to stakeholders. So this is PRINCE2, and PRINCE2 comes with a lot of benefits. One of the benefits is providing a common framework and language for project managers, project management effectively, emphasizing continuous business justification and stakeholder engagement. So this business justification is almost the main benefit, because they always make sure that the project is viable. Promote clear role, responsibilities, and accountability for project stakeholders. Flexible and adaptable to suit various projects type, size, and context, which the flexibility is lacking in Waterfall. Encouraging lesson learning from past projects and applying lesson learned to improve project outcome. So if looking at this benefit and what we've seen in PRINCE2 so far, you see that PRINCE2 is in between Waterfall and Agile approach. The other two approaches are extreme left and extreme right. So the Waterfall is extreme rigidity, and Agile is extreme flexibility. But PRINCE2 have a balance of both, being consistent in, thorough planning, and equally being flexible and looking at being viable at every point within the project life cycle. PRINCE2 comes with its own challenges as well. It requires formal documentation and governance processes, which can be time consuming. These are where they are having their own issue, because it's government led project approach. Is a bit of, most things that comes with government requires a lot of approval, and that bureaucracy. This bureaucracy is what maybe Agile people might not want to, consider PRINCE2 because of the bureaucratic, so they don't want it. May not be suitable for projects with high uncertainty or rapid changing environment. Like Agile is, like I said, extreme flexibility. So PRINCE2 might not be so good for that kind of extreme flexibility, because of, you see, a lot of checks and control within the PRINCE2 will not allow it for that extreme flexibility, although they want to, adapt that flexible part of agile. Relies heavily on upfront planning and struggle to accommodate evolving project need and priority. So these are the extreme flexibility we're talking about. Requires training and certification for project managers and team members to effectively implement PRINCE2 practice. And these are one of the major drawbacks we have in PRINCE2, because you cannot practice PRINCE2 as a project manager if you are not PRINCE2 certified. If you are not certified, like the minimum is foundation, you must have PRINCE2 foundation certificate, or the recommended is practitioner. It must be a PRINCE2 practitioner. The project manager working with him, you must be a PRINCE2 practitioner. You must have that certification. And so many, we have a lot of project managers today, and they are not certified. But PRINCE2 makes it as a law that before you can claim you are a project manager practicing PRINCE2, you must be certified. So these are some of the things why so many project managers, because I know so many of you might not want to, where you can just finish your boot camp and jump in and start practicing as a project manager. Some people will not have that patience to go and start, because the training you need, you can fail a lot. You don't just go and write them. So you must, pass the exam. You have to write the exam, pass the exam before you can be called, no matter how you understand it and you feel you can practice it, you cannot practice until you pass the certification exam. But today, we have so many project managers who are not PRINCE2, and they are doing well. Just like in our camp, we have a lot of them, project managers. I don't have any certification. So, in conclusion, PRINCE2 methodology offered a structured and process-based approach to project management, providing organizations with flexible, adaptable, and still structured. They say offer structured and then flexible and adaptable framework for managing projects effectively. By embracing PRINCE2 principles, team, and processes, organizations can improve project governance, stakeholder engagement, and project success rates, ultimately delivering value to stakeholders and achieving project objectives. So the take home here is that PRINCE2 is a balanced project approach, but is because of the bureaucratic and certification and things, a lot of people, it becomes where the drawbacks. Because so many of us will be like, oh, why are we not using PRINCE2? Well, before you can start, say in our project we're using PRINCE2 according to PRINCE2. This we all the project managers here must be PRINCE2 certified before you can say you are using PRINCE2. If you are not certified, you cannot implement a project using PRINCE2 practices. Okay, this is where we are going to end it for project management. Like I said, there's a lot of other things to learn or things to do as a project manager when you are growing growing in experience. You might want to start taking up this certification exams. There are so many of them to do, but you can get a good job without any certification. It's 100% guaranteed getting a good job without any. All you need to do is show experience of where you've done manage some projects. So we're adding it here, and I believe what we've captured here is enough to guide you to start your career as a project manager. And so, and I encourage all of us to start applying for jobs. You know, what we have here is enough to get started. And believe me, when I say enough, I mean it's enough. So I see so many of us, some of you I engaged, and I wonder why so many of us will dive into all this training and they are not going to be applying for jobs. I chatted with one of you and say, are you applying? Say, I'm not still ready. I'm still planning to do this certification. I said, what do you mean you are not yet ready? You want to get some certification before you can ready. You find out that so many of us still have cold feet. You still don't think you are a project manager. You don't think you are still a business analyst. You feel you cannot do it. You feel you cannot be called a project manager, or you cannot be called a business analyst. So many of us are doing well. So many of us are trying the market, hitting the market. You know, it doesn't matter how long they keep rejecting. Who tell you that even the best project manager in the whole world do not get rejected times? It might be that they don't, you know, want some, maybe some companies, some of these jobs you see, they are just outside there to meet the requirement. They already have someone they want to put there. A lot of factors come why they are not going to take you. And when you apply and you get rejected, so you shouldn't feel demoralized. You keep firing. So as a matter of fact, this project management, all this business, they are consultancy career level, and is a quick return on investment. I'm telling you, project management is one of the quickest return on investment you can think of in all these IT courses we have today. And if you want to challenge me to that, you bring the reason why you challenge me. I know it's the quickest. When I told you, so we are starting this book, I told some of you that this might be your best investment, because the return in an investment is not, we're not talking about 100% return on investment. We're talking about 2,000% return on investment compared to what you put in. Compared to some people who go to do their masters, 2 years masters, they will come out, stay nothing. You know, people will do 4 years, spend 4 years in the university, but here, 4 months, even not even 4 months, 2 months, some of you have already started, you know, firing. So many of you are already, some that are not gotten job, at least have gotten an interview. And when you start getting this kind of feelings, it gives you the confidence. So some of you that have not started trying the market for one reason or the other, feeling that you are not still there. I see some people, they will do this capture, they go to Coursera, want to capture. I believe so much on a return on any little investment I make in education or career or skill, you want to recover my investment. So go and get that job, and that's what matters to me so much. That after your boot camp, you got a job. If you have any question, you can take your question briefly. By 8:30, I have another class. So have a Kenneth Obona raising your hand. Be quick because we don't have time.
Yeah, sorry, quick one, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna give us another CV for the project management, right?
Have you used the one I give you already?
Yes, I've been using it. I've been using it, sir.
Another
But for
CV,
project coordinator.
another CV, because when I give you a project manager CV is when the boot camp ends. That's when you can start applying as a project manager. That's for me. But for now, with the one you have, just start applying as a project code because we have not finished any project yet.
Okay. Thanks so much, sir.
Yeah. Have Gosson.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Good evening.
And good evening. And thank you for your instructive lessons. Certainly appreciate. But my question is this. In regard to PRINCE2, where you said until one is certified on it, he cannot practice. And also note for Scrum Masters, there's also need for certification on it.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You quote what I said.
Okay. Because for your lecture this evening, I heard when you said that
PRINCE2. I didn't say Scrum Master. I said PRINCE2.
Yes. I was just making reference to Scrum Master too, where you talk about you even use it as an assignment too for us that we should go and upload the guards.
Yeah, but I didn't say that. I didn't say that if you did not take the exam, you cannot practice.
Okay.
I didn't say that. But PRINCE2, I did not say PRINCE2. The law says according to PRINCE2, not me. The law.
Okay, the law of PRINCE2 said that one must be sanctified before he can apply for such role.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you see some people, some of these jobs you're applying for, they will say you must have PRINCE2. So many of them.
Yes.
Maybe in most cases you see that those jobs are within the public sector, government projects.
Okay. Like this, the so-called PRINCE2 and Scrum Master, if one obtains such certification for a place like Udemy, will it be acceptable?
Udemy is not is the training, is not certification. When you go to Udemy is just like unuploaded courses. What the difference between Udemy and what we are doing here is that we are live classes. We are teaching you live, interactive class, although it's online. But Udemy is just people selling content. They are selling content, recorded content, you buy it. So that doesn't make you a certified person, although you might get the knowledge. I'm not trying to downgrade. The Udemy is top notch, but when you get because I know so many companies still send their companies to go do one Udemy course or not for upskilling. But all these certifications, they have recognized bodies. In Scrum, I showed you people the site. So I don't know why I didn't say Udemy. I say scrum.org. And I equally asked you to download. I show you certification. I didn't take you to Udemy.
All right. Thank you for the answer. Appreciate.
Yeah. Innocent Dibia.
Good evening, Mr. Charles. Thank you very much for the class tonight. I have two questions very quickly. Okay. The first one is this. Must one possess all the required skills in a job description before applying? for such role? And if no, like what percentage of the qualification? And if one does not possess all the skills or in that job description, the remaining skills, is there any chance that one will be trained by the company? That's number one question. Number two, since we are rounding up project management section, I've deemed it necessary to ask this question based on my assumptions so far. I don't know if I'm right, but what exactly is the difference between project management and product management? Is there any disparity between these two? Can we
Okay.
apply the same knowledge?
I'll start from, because I don't have time. Totally, I'm starting another class by half it. Product management, you do it under project management. So you implement a product. A product is an application. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
And product management, how do you manage that product? First, you have to start a project. If you want to build a software, what do? You start a project. So you manage products, or you develop products as a project. So that is the difference. Project is a wider scope. So product is the outcome of the project. You deliver a product. So you're building a house is a product. So you have continuous improvement. That's one of the product management. Car is a product. How do you produce a car? You have to start a project and break them down into various structures. And the second question, if you are smart, any job requirement, you should tailor your CV to align. So that is being smart, clever. So, but if you don't have the skill, well, no company wants to hire somebody that doesn't have the skill. Why would they hire you and train you? Why they have a lot of people applying with experience and all the skills there? Are you getting me? So
Yes.
it's up to you to be clever and be wise. You know, if some cases, even if you don't have it, I see some people, they tailor their CV. When they give the interview and scale through, before they start the job, you can quickly go and upscale. Today, we'll have a lot of small courses you can quickly use to upscale yourself before you start. But if you don't have any skill at all, there's no need of going to apply for a job you do not have a skill. But in terms of project management, I don't think there's any project management you cannot, tackle with what you have already. What so many of you don't have is confidence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles.
Alade Tomi. And after Joy, we are not capturing any question from anybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thanks for the training. My question is on the NERA's expansion project. I knew you said Wednesday was going to be our project review, and so I was hoping we could talk about the project. I have some questions on it.
Okay, we'll talk about. I decided to change my mind because I'm a stakeholder.
All right.
I can do what stakeholder does what they want. That's why you have to be trying as much as you can to buy them over to support you at all times.
All right, sir. So there are some aspects of the project where I feel, okay, are we supposed to actually do them the way we are supposed to do them? For example, like the localization. And I knew that the localization requires like recruiting people to translate into different languages. So I don't know what you expect from us on that aspect.
Okay, it's not something we can talk now. So package it. All your project questions we are coming to review our project. For me, I just want to finish this project management and move on to other things. So whatever you have with near us, be packaging them and be keeping them. We are coming there. So
All right, sir.
Joy,
Thank you.
Ekemezi. Oh,
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
So my question is on the CV. We're
Okay.
going to structure this our own CV the way you did, like exactly how you wrote everything down. Because I've read that CV almost 10 times and I don't know where to start because there are two boogers.
Okay.
The things there are so much.
See how you are downgrading yourself. So you have to go back and start. If
Sir, it's not that.
if it's too bogus for you, then you don't need to. You have to go and start doing your what they call a virtual assistant job. So yeah, that is my this thing. I captured everything we have in that CV, and that CV. If I want to sell that CV is not less than, that CV template is not less than $200. Lynn, you know, some of you do not pay for CV. I think some of you should go try to go to CV experts and try to for them, like all this Godwin raising hand. I don't know what you are thinking. I don't know if you are part of this. Even Lynn, I don't know why
Sir,
you
please,
are raising
just
hand.
very fast.
Sorry, sir. Please, I just
No,
have
not
little
waste
question.
time.
Question, sir.
I
No,
told
but you want
you.
me go first.
It's
What?
just a straight line question, sir.
What?
Oh, sir, you may mention, I was just trying to ask, is it possible as a project manager to apply for a product management position? Like if there's a position for product manager, can a project manager apply?
Product.
Yes.
You are not a product. You are not a product manager now. We have dedicated career called product manager. So what you are training in for project, I've just product manager are people who understand the product requirement, like the product owner.
Okay, thank you.
So you cannot apply for a product manager if you are a project manager, because you are not a product manager. If you are a product owner, you can apply for product manager. You know, product manager, these are the people that owns that product, understand the requirement, just like use product owner as example to understand what the product manager does. They do the same thing.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sir, please, I'm going to be very fast with mine. Please, sir. It's about the CV thing also. You know, I asked it last time, but you just gave a one straight answer in the chat. For somebody who has the same project manager job happening the same time, how do you advise the person to capture it in their CV, please?
I don't have answer to that. I've answered that question. Why would you capture two these things at the same time? Is it to show that you are too good? Company will not even listen to you. I've answered that question, and I'm not going to answer it again. So
okay, sir.
You tell somebody you are doing you are project managers in the same duration, different companies, and who tell you that is doing two jobs? Is a company don't like that, so you don't go and mess yourself up. I've answered that question already. So you choose one you want to put on your CV and leave the, who told you that we all of us don't do double jobs, but we don't put everything. Put the one that you want to reflect on your CV. All right. Thank you and see you tomorrow.
Good night, sir.